Hey everyone, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life, and I want to welcome you to episode 45 of Lengthening Live, where the patients get to interview the guests. And today we have a special guest with us. He's joining the live open mic, roundtable, if you will, of Lengthening Live. He clicked on the link. We have real Ashe with us. What's up, Ashe? How are you doing?
Doing great, Victor.
So I literally got surprised by Ashe like 5 minutes ago. I clicked on, join the backstage here, and I saw him on here, and I was like, asking him some questions to get some, background. And he's literally saying he hasn't had the surgery, so he's a prospective patient. And Ashe, so we're gonna let's actually do a little interview, just to kind of get some background information, and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I grew up. My early life was in India. Then I was in Singapore for a while. Then I moved to the US. I moved to Canada, and then I did my high school and stuff there. And then I moved to the US for studies, and then again I'm back to Canada.
Okay.
So yeah, my ethnicity is kind of Southeast Asia, Indian kind of like, but I've lived most of my life in North America.
In North America, gotcha. In the U.S., all right, man. So, very cool. So you're thinking about lengthening. I guess you're kind of familiar with the channel and everything that I talk about lengthening. How did you come across the procedure?
Yeah, so since high school, I was always interested in getting taller, because even though I'm from Southeast Asia, where people are on the shorter range, but even then, like, I was comparing the average heights in North America, because I wanted to, we were planning to move there as a family and stuff like that. So I was like around 5 foot. I'm like around 5'6" tall. So I wanted to be the average North American height, which is like 5'9", 5'9.5". I tried to like figure out different stuff to do, and like I was looking at all the celeb heights and like different pages on internet. So then I wanted to be taller. So I'm a techie by profession. So I browse internet like crazy. So that's how I found out about limb lengthening.
Gotcha. So you did some Google searching. Well, there we go. I'm not sure why my video went off, but very cool. So, how many years have you been kind of like researching this procedure? Has it been like just recently in the last couple of months, or has it been years?
It's been close to 8 to 9 years now.
Wow. Okay. So you've been really familiar with this. So you're 5'6". You're trying to get to 5'9". That's the 3-inch increase right there. So obviously, I think you're considering femur lengthening, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Have you kind of started looking into potential limb lengthening clinics where you'd like to get this done?
Yeah. So I was in New York City, so I contacted Dr. Rosbrook there, and I also tried to get in touch with Dr. Paley in Florida. So, but the problem with me is that although I'm okay with undergoing the procedure, I just don't have the time bandwidth for it, right? So it take, like, earlier with the external fixators and stuff, it used to take more time, or like, I don't know. I mean, anyway, it takes 8 to 9 months. So I was starting a company, and I had so many other things on my plate. So basically, that's the reason why I'm not able to take the plunge. But at some point, I would like to, but I don't know when.
You don't know when. So that's good. I mean, you're still kind of associating yourself with the procedure, learning, researching it. Really, I think that there's a good amount that you can learn about this procedure to make sure that you do it the right way. And you like you said, you're looking into really two of the top surgeons in the world who do this procedure, so you can't go wrong there. Very cool. So do you do anything athletically right now, or physically working out?
I do work out once in a while, but I'm not like you, of course. But average like 2 to 3 times a week perhaps. But I don't consider myself the most fit guy in the world.
Gotcha. Now, is that one of your concerns going into this procedure, is recovery on the back end, like after the surgery, or is it like you just want to make sure that you're just walking normally and able to do what you're doing right now in the gym?
I'm not worried too much about like playing sports and other stuff. I am not like that outdoors. I mean, I'm not an outdoors person, so basically, like, I just want to make sure that I am like taller. I mean, I'm at the average height range, so that's my motivation. I'm not
Gotcha.
concerned as much.
Gotcha. So strictly the height. What about proportions? I mean, that's another big worry. I mean, this is a cosmetic procedure, so aesthetics, matter a lot. Are
Yeah.
you worried about like, your proportions being skewed?
Not really, actually. So I
Okay.
have not thought about it as much, but I don't think I'm worried about it as much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, very cool, man. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. I mean, we'll keep talking here, but I mean, I think this is really cool to get a
Am I
perspective.
doing good now?
You're doing phenomenal. You're doing phenomenal.
Okay,
Yeah, no, you're doing great. We've never really had a prospective patient on ever actually in an interview format, except for like when I did podcasts the first few times with a few people. So I think this is really unique to kind of get your where your state of mind is going into this procedure. So, are you fearful of this procedure? Like, are you fearful of a lot of the potential complications, or have you kind of really whittled it down and said, "Hey, look, I know what I'm getting myself into here."
so earlier I was very nervous, like when I was researching the procedure earlier, right. So I mean, like when I saw those external fixators, like I was seeing a bunch of images and videos online, I
Hmm.
was pretty scared. That was pretty scary for me.
Yeah.
But especially in the recent past, what has happened is that, like, especially in the last 3 to 4 years, so whenever I have looked at different diaries and stuff, I think my confidence with the surgery has definitely improved.
Mm.
So i guess uh, so i guess I'm not that nervous.
Okay.
The only thing is that, like, you know the only thing that scares me a little bit is the non-union part,
Okay.
where
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the only thing that still scares me.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'm not that scared anymore.
Okay. You are you are like a rare prospective patient. I've never talked to one who's never been fearful of things and okay with proportions, not really caring about recovery. You just want the height, man. I like it. Very
Yeah, I
cool.
mean,
So
perhaps
yeah,
I'm like, perhaps I have not researched into each of the complications in that much detail as well,
yeah.
so that might be another reason. But I know the broad range of complications that might come. But I think I read several papers where the complication rate is like less than 5%,
Hmm.
and even if they arise, I think if you go with the right doctor, they are treatable, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so basically, that's what is more important. So it's basically, at the end of the day, even if it's an arduous procedure, so once you come out fine, even with complications, is what matters, and that success rate is pretty high.
Hmm.
So though, yeah, I mean, except the death part, which is like very, 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 very rare. So that's how I came to terms with it, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. No, that's phenomenal, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Is that the complication rate for the serious complications is very low. Things like getting tight, that's going to happen. You're just going to have to do a lot of rehab, and then you like the bone, the delayed union. That's actually pretty common, but with enough nutrition and time, it can heal itself as well. Now, I want to kind of dive into more of the the thought process here of like, were you ever discriminated against because of your height, or was it just like a personal decision to try to improve your stature? Why? What's the really the driving force to want to get this done?
So primarily, I've never been discriminated for my height, right? So I,
Interesting.
I have never felt it. Like, I mean, it could be in dating and other stuff, casual dating and stuff. I might have been discriminated,
Hmm.
but in terms of my job and stuff, I've never been discriminated. I've been fairly confident and all that. So that's there. But the main motivation for me was that, like, I wanted to get into leadership positions and stuff like that. So where being average height would give you more confidence, and there was some statistic that said, like, hey, uh, majority of the CEOs, like, are over 6 foot or something like that in the US and North America primarily. So I mean, I was not fitting that mold, but so that's what triggered me to
Gotcha.
get this procedure done.
Nice. Very cool. When you plan to get this done, are you planning to tell anybody that you're going to do it, or is it just going to be a solo mission?
Yeah, I have not thought about it. The thing is that so I mean, my family would know.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, okay,
because
all right.
the reason why they would know is because they are like we have a lot of doctors in the family, so
Okay.
I cannot bluff with them, so they are like pretty aware about all the medical advances and the procedures that are going on and stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
I
That's
don't think I can hide it from them, but for the rest of the world, I think it will still. I would want it to be clandestine.
Gotcha. Very cool. So you are going to tell like your inner circle, but you're not going to kind of blast it to the world. That's fair. Very cool. So I guess the question is, you said that you really can't get into it now to do the surgery. When's like I guess a time range of when you plan to hopefully go through with at least the consultation and get the ball rolling?
So I have not set a timeline for it, honestly. So I want to get this done by in another 4 to 5 years. So I just hit my 30s. So the reason being that like bone healing and other stuff will be better if you do it in your 30s as compared to later in life.
Mhm.
So that's one reason. It all depends on like how my work and other things permit me actually. So that's the blocker for me right now. So yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Do you work virtually or remotely, or is it like you have to be, hands on?
I do. I mean, I work remotely right now, but I think depending on the org, right? So some organizations ask you to come
To the
to the office,
office?
but
Yeah.
some ask you to work remotely. So I'm currently working remotely, but I don't know if I change my org and stuff. I have to go back to office.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, man. This is really cool. I mean, I love hearing the. I mean, I get it all the time in messaging, but I never talk to anybody. Like this in an interview format. So very cool, man. Well, Ash, do you want to stick around and I'm going to answer some questions. We'll do a live Q&A here. But before that, we have a few. Or you want to go?
No. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions to you.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
how
Go ahead.
many,
Yeah.
in person, right? So, like, because of your channel, I guess you get to meet a lot of prospective patients. Like, how many people have you met actually in person, like, who told you,
Stature.
like, yeah, for stature lengthening?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 6 or maybe 7 if you want to include a younger guy. It's Sinai because I live in Baltimore, so it's actually
Hmm.
not too far from Sinai, the International Center for Limb Lengthening. So, and then if you go back years, there weren't too many stature lengthening patients there because they really did discrepancy a lot. So, yeah, at least 6 or 7 patients in person. Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. hmm Yeah, man, I meet quite a few people, more so virtually, because a lot of people live, and again, not everybody's comfortable, meeting in person. But yeah, I've met a good amount of them in person.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. So, any other questions?
No.
Okay. All right. So, guys, I have a few, I guess, a list of things I want to kind of talk about here. So, first of all, if you guys didn't know, HJ, Height Journey, he just had his tibial lengthening surgery. He has his blog, which I'll link later below this video. You can check it out and kind of follow along with what he's going through. He had to get tibial torsion correction, and he's getting his tibials lengthened. So that's happening. Rich Rotella, the guy that I'm doing the documentary with, just finished his 8 centimeter femur lengthening, and he just flew home back to LA from West Palm at the Paley Institute. He's back in LA as of last night, but today. And yeah, so everything went really well with that. And then let's see here. We had a few people message me this week about. Actually, I got one this morning on the Discord about should people who want to do body modifications, like who have body dysmorphia, undergo limb lengthening. And I think that a lot of surgeons who consult with you would say no. And the reason why is because body dysmorphia is somebody who wants to kind of consistently, alter their body, just change things to kind of physically look different. And I think that limb lengthening is more for people who have height dysphoria, which is, like a mental, I guess I don't want to say blockade, but just want to mentally improve or physically improve themselves to mentally give themselves peace. So, yeah, that's that. And then what else I want to talk about today? So those are just some topics to kind of throw to you guys if you have comments and questions about them. The other thing is about enhancing recovery via treatments. There's been 3 people that messaged me over the weekend about 3 different companies that have, I guess promising recovery modalities that might come out. And there's one guy that's testing it right now for, I think he's doing it for either slow bone growth or soft tissue recovery. So we will check that. And then, and then let's see. That's pretty much all I had. Yeah. So I just want to kind of go through that list there. But let's go ahead and answer some questions. So, Randy, you are up, my man. Which I'm going to also figure that out. Oh, that's not working. Who do we got? Let's see if Randy's in here. There we go. Cool. Oh, somebody just joined. You see that, Randy? Hello? Ath? ATH? Not sure who that is. Oh, Ath, check your bars, your service bars. I don't think that you have good signal, and you might not be able to stream through. So check your signal, your Wi-Fi. It seems like it's a little low. But I'll go ahead and answer this first question. So, hey, 1123. Hi, Victor. Is going over 5 centimeters safe in tibias? My starting height is 164 centimeters. I want to do quadrilateral lengthening. I will be doing femurs 1 month after finishing tibial lengthening. So you going over 5 centimeters, I don't think is safe. I don't think for the vast majority of patients is safe. It can be safe under the right guidance of an experienced surgeon, and you can get out of it safely. It has been done, but I don't know why you would want to do that. I think that you should stay to 5 centimeters and below. I mean, just do whatever your body can tolerate. You might not even be able to get to 4 centimeters. You don't know, but most people can get to 5 on the tibia. But again, you should just kind of listen to your surgeon for that and do consistent biweekly checkups. But yeah, very good. Ath, I think I would like to talk to you, but let me see if we can kick her from the stream. Maybe she can rejoin. Okay. IP. Hello, Victor. I wanted to ask your opinion. How flexible should one be before femur surgery? I actually just did a video on stretching, and I think that as flexible as possible. It's really hard to say, but I think if you go to a physical therapist before your surgery and say, hey, look, I want to make sure I have flexible hamstrings, flexible hip flexors, glutes, and all the muscles that are going to, the adductors, abductors, all those hip rotators, just to make sure that you're flexible enough. It's hard to say that you're going to have a certain degree of flexibility because everybody's going to be different. But I think that if you can do certain range, they're going to be better to measure your flexibility than I could tell you over this conference. So I think that, touching the floor, all those things, but you got to make sure, it's hard to say, but flexible enough. Just stretch. And the reason why is because stretching is going to help you, reduce pain, and it's going to help you get into a good routine. But you're still going to get tight during lengthening. You hear that, Ashe? You're going to get tight. You're willing to do all the PT and the rehab?
Yeah, I have to, right? And there is no
man. That's part of the game. You got to do it. And I think that if you can but you're working out a few times a week, so it should set you up, for a good lengthening process. And you seem like you really have your head on right in terms of what to expect, good doctors and all that stuff. All right. We got time-lapse Guy Bruno. Does the fibula bone also get longer? I saw an x-ray of a lengthened tibia bone. The fibula just had a big gap, no consolidation. Does that make sense? It should get longer. It should heal. If it didn't, then it may be, it might not. It might have a delayed union. It could have a non-union, and that should be looked into by the surgeon who did that surgery. Yeah, you want to make sure that both they distract at the same time. It should heal. Hey, when does leg to body ratio will start to look off? It's hard to say. Everybody's different, like if you were standing here right in front of me, I could literally tell you, yes or no for things, but it's so hard to say by the numbers. That's why I don't like going by numbers. The mirror is going to be your best friend. and if you have a trained eye. But really, the vast majority of people in the public, they don't even have a trained eye. So you can get away with some, skewed proportions, and nobody will ever give you a second take. But I think that from, people that I've seen, if you lengthen beyond 4 centimeters, like of your wingspan to your height, I think that it starts to, walk that line of being a little, start to get some second takes and stuff. So that's just my feeling for most people, unless you have really short arms to begin with, so. Man, Randy, I can't have you back here. I don't know why this software is acting like this. They're going to hear from me. Moad Naf. Hey, HJ. Thanks for being here. How's the pain levels compared to femur lengthening? No, Moad. This is actually... this isn't HJ. I was just reading a list of things. HJ is not here. He's lengthening at his place that he's staying at for lengthening. This is a prospective patient here. Hey, Victor.
No. He just mentioned that he has joined, right? Like in the live chat, he has mentioned.
Is he in the live chat?
Yeah, if you scroll, I think I saw.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, he says. Hi, I'm listening in. I'm not ready to join as a guest. Oh, there it is. I might be able to briefly answer some questions in this live chat. Okay, thanks HJ for being here. I'll make sure to post your blog below this video. That's cool. Thanks for looking at the chat. That person must have been answering him. Gotcha. Imek. Hey, Victor. Emilian here. We talked by email. Yes. Thanks for the live streams, dude. Yeah, man. I like doing this. I'm going to try to keep it going as long as possible until it doesn't make sense anymore. I'm trying to keep the limb lengthening industry alive. It seems very, like I said in past videos, I feel like it's very stagnant right now. I could bring on surgeons, sure, but what are they going to say? The same old thing. I could find new surgeons to bring on, but then everybody's going to ask, is this a good surgeon? It's like, what do we want to do? I think the next stage for this industry is to, like I said, improve it. And I've been trying to do that, but nobody wants to play ball. I don't know why. They will eventually, and then I'll be bored with it.
So when is that documentary coming, Victor?
The documentary? So I actually talked to Rich. I think it was earlier this week. I think we did our last check-in when he did 8 centimeters, and he's saying late 2023? Or sorry, yeah, like sometime in 2023 or 2024 early, because the reason why he's thinking about waiting until he gets the nails removed so he can put that into it, so you can see like the whole journey. But he's not sure yet. He might just do it. It might be as a follow-up or something like that. But we'll see. I'm going to let him get home, get consolidated, get back to walking and, life, and then, land some acting gigs, and then, maybe we'll follow up with him. But hopefully sometime in late 2023. It'd be great if it comes out, in the next year. Afra, okay. Hi, I tried to join your live, but my mic wasn't working properly. Oh, okay. But I will be doing my tibia surgery on the 15th of August. I'm 22 years old. 142 centimeters. Wow. Okay. Athra. Okay. So that's who you were. Ath. Okay. Very cool. Well, I'm super happy for you. I hope it goes phenomenally well, and definitely keep us updated, and we'll do an interview with you. We'll do these open mics. You can always join in and talk then. So good luck. Tibia lengthening, huh? Yeah. Tibia lengthening is funny because it's different, and we can ask HJ when he gets out of it, but it's different, man. I think that the risk for muscle contractures are higher for the tibia. And I think that, you have the fibula there, you have to have a skilled surgeon for the tibia lengthening. There's a lot that can go wrong. Hey, 1123, you're back. I spoke to a current LON femur patient who is currently at 6.6 centimeters. He mentioned to me that he can't bend his knee past 90 degrees due to lengthening. Is that normal? Past 90 degrees? Yeah, probably. He should probably, yeah. I mean, at that point, he's getting close to he's getting really tight. Yeah, it's going to happen, but he's just got to keep it as flexible as possible. Because LON, it's just harder. I mean, because you have those pins going through into the muscle, so it's going to make bending the knee harder. But he really needs to keep working at that, because he doesn't want to get a knee contracture, because that's pretty bad too, because the hamstring and the gastrocnemius cross the knee joint. So if you're doing tibial lengthening, you can get a knee contracture as well. It's more likely that you're going to get an equinus contracture, which is like ballerina foot. But for the femur lengthening, you can get a knee contracture, which will, I think a lot of people over lengthen. I really do. I think that people, they misunderstand that he should probably talk to his physical therapist. I don't know, 90 degrees, that he should probably be able to do more than that. I don't know what his physical therapist is doing, but you want to stay as flexible as possible, because if you get a muscle contracture and it stays like that for months, then you're going to have stiffness for a lot longer. That's why I always say you should be able to rehab as fast as possible once you're done lengthening, because if the muscles kind of get, locked in place, they don't want to move. Muscle is very lazy. You have to condition it and train it and tone it to get it to do what you want it to do. And if you don't, then you're looking for long-term recovery. So, I mean, it almost happened to me. Like I did 4 centimeters, and it's like I did like 6 centimeters because I was so muscular. And Dr. Conway was like, "You better get it into, kick it into high gear. If you don't, you're not going to be able to do stuff for bodybuilding." Nathan D. Schwarzschild. I like that. It's like Schwarzenegger, but it's probably his real name. What's up, Cyborg? Question: any new information updates regarding stem cells or growth plate reopening? Oh yeah, we had the guy on last week about this, and unfortunately there is a lot of research out there, but nothing is conclusive to the point where we can put our finger and say that this is going to work or help out the industry. Stem cells, yeah, there's a lot of research, and doctors are using it all the time to help with helping with healing and recovery. So there's a lot of stem cell research going on that I think is probably more, beneficial to look into right now. But growth plate reopening, I think there was one doctor that was doing it. I can't remember, in Colorado or something like that, but it was for, medical reasons, and she didn't want to talk. So unfortunately, nobody wants to play ball. What do you know? Do you know anything about this stuff, Ashe?
No idea.
No, he's just sitting back, enjoying the show. I like this. You got to come on more. You're good company.
I think there is hardly any person who knows about this procedure more than you, apart from the doctors, I think.
No. I see. The funny thing is that when I had my surgery done, I knew very, very little, and I wanted to change that. Well, first of all, when I had my surgery done, it got done so well. I recovered so well that I forgot that I had it done 3-4 years later. Then I did an internship with Dr. Conway for a little bit. Then I did, school for a little while. Then I came back. And it wasn't until I started to get people reach out to me via Instagram that I kind of, brought back up this limb lengthening thing. I was like, oh yeah, I did have that done, So people are asking me, like, did limb lengthening affect your life? It's like, it improved my life, but it didn't affect it because I forgot that I had it done. So I kind of, once I started doing the videos and diving into this industry and the whole procedure, I learned as I went. So I knew a lot when I had it done. I learned everything I possibly could, and I knew how it worked. But you really learn a lot from hearing the patients, listening to the surgeons. And I get a lot of messages every day, like probably anywhere from 30 to 50. So it's like you hear probably more than the surgeons do. So, so I get a unique perspective. Patient perspective. I have my own perspective. I get the surgeon's perspective. So I think that does help me have a lot of experience in terms of what I'm talking about. But it was built along the way. It wasn't like I just had it one day. I'm not like not that type of cyborg. All right. Janu. Hi, Victor. What problems are you aware with the genome? Do the patients overcome these with the surgeons or something like that? Yeah. Randy pulls it off. Yeah, we never got to do the battle of the nails, unfortunately. I don't know if the people want to do it or if they're just like, we bring everybody on and they're like, oh, well, my device is going to lose or something like that. But they were really, really upset about that nail when they were all doing it. They said that the clicking was super painful. They said that it was inconsistent. Like there was clicks that you couldn't hear and they were actually lengthening. So there's people with delayed and non-unions, like they were not happy with it, Janu. So that's what I've heard. And I wanted to kind of showcase that to you all. But apparently when push came to shove and I asked for them to join the battle of the nails, everybody ran into their corners and I couldn't get anybody together. So Johannes is going to come back. He's the Fitbone patient. He just had some personal things he was dealing with. LON patients couldn't get anybody that. Precice, we can always get HJ, or I can do it, or we can get Ashe here when he gets it done. But yeah, man. So I don't know. Gmail, I don't know. Those guys, I hope they're doing well. It's kind of is that all, Randy? Oh, there we go. Got it. Hey, hi Victor. When you post the video comparing all the various nails, that's what I was just talking about. I wish I could do that today. I wish I could have done it last week, but I don't know if they want to do it. Like, we'll try to get them together. Maybe it's a scheduling thing. Maybe I need to do better and be more flexible, but I don't know. I don't know if they just want to. Maybe they're doing okay now. See, that's what happens a lot with lengthening. When you're going through it and you have a problem, it's on your mind and you talk about it, you complain about it, but then when it's gone, you forget about it. It happens all the time, you know? Like, that's why I say that to the patient who's having an issue. If it's not a severe complication, I say just give it time, listen to your surgeon, listen to your physical therapist, and give it time and do your part. And then usually it will resolve itself. But a lot of people just can't wait. Especially if you're going in for stature lengthening, there was nothing wrong with you. You don't know if anything's getting better. You're like, oh my gosh, my legs, I don't want them to be amputated. You start freaking out. And I guess I understand, but at the same time, I've been through so many surgeries. I'm like, you got to let your body recover. It takes time. So don't get scared, Ash. This is not a procedure that you need to be scared.
I have had a couple of procedures, and
Have you?
yeah.
What have you had done?
So I had like an eye surgery, but it was like it was related to some problem which I had, but that was a very small procedure, not like this one, which is like a 4-dimensional surgery, right? Like it's long and all. No, but I had some eye issue, and that was pretty like when I was a kid.
Okay, gotcha.
But I do remember, and I have I have family who are doctors and stuff, so I hear about cases and stuff all the time. So it's not like I'm entering the hospital for the first time or something like that. Like some people, this is their first surgery, right? So for them, it's a different experience altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it's scary. It's scary when it's your first procedure. Like when I had to get lengthening done, I knew what it was going to be like because I've been through 2 broken legs before that and actually lots of head injuries. So going to the hospital was not the scary thing. Going through surgery was not the scary thing. It was just like, will I still be able to bodybuild at the highest level? You know. So okay, what do we say? You think the Paleo Institute will do a Groupon discount? I got to show that to Dr. Robbins. He will love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, maybe we should get Dr. Paley to do a Groupon discount. Like it'll be like a flash sale. If you don't catch it, you miss it. He says like 50% off stature lengthening. So it's like $50,000 off. How to identify if one has a muscle contracture versus muscle tightness or limited range of motion due to lengthening. So a muscle contracture is usually when your muscle your joint range of motion is immovable, and not necessarily just immovable because even then it could just be like a lack of motion. But your surgeon, your physical therapist will be able to identify this, but it's like usually a locked joint. It's when it will not budge. And sometimes they can be worked out through physical therapy, but usually you need to kind of stop lengthening for like a couple days, do lots of soft tissue conditioning like A-stem, warm up the muscles, do your stretching. And if you get some motion back, then you're probably okay. But if you went too far, you're going to probably need a soft tissue release. So I think there's like 2 phases to it, like a severe and there's like a mild. Mild, you can usually work it out and it'll resolve. Severe, you need soft tissue releases. And a lot of people, they don't work them out. Like I've heard some horror cases, before, when I first started this channel, I got blasted with some uncomfortable messages that I had to like sit back and think, do I really want to keep shooting videos? And luckily those people are walking today, but they had to go in for multiple surgeries afterwards. Some people weren't walking for, 17 months and stupid stuff like that. Because they overdid it. They got height greedy. That should be another username. Height greedy. H. Ramirez, if your femur is say 3 inches longer than your thigh, your femur's longer than your thigh, how would that affect the way you can exercise? I think you mean your tibia. So that's a good question. It's going to change your biomechanics. I did a video on this way back. I really want to do another one with a biomechanics guy, but I don't know. It affects like how your stride length. It's going to affect that. It's going to affect where your feet, are. You really kind of have to adapt to your new running gait or your running ability. So it's hard to say because I think we need more data. That's why I actually have a few patients who when they're going to get their surgery done probably next year. They're planning to do a study with me and the biomechanics expert, Dr. Stu Mickerlane from Loughborough University. And he agreed to it. We just need the data, and then we're going to try to publish some stuff. So we will get that information to you. It's kind of slow today, Randy, right? I don't know. It's been kind of interesting in the limb lengthening community lately. I don't want to go down any dark paths, but we could do that. Can you please list some of the severe complications which could arise from femur lengthening? So I think I shot a few videos a video recently that I talk about that. You have a lot, but I'll start with the most common. If you're talking about the bone, then you can have a delayed union, which means it just takes longer for your bone to heal and catch up. So you usually have to slow down lengthening. You could have a non-union, which you need like either a bone graft or some sort of other modality like stem cells or something to kind of help the bone heal. Then you can have what else? Now I'm drawing a blank now. I know it's been a long day. I'm trying to think. Femur lengthening, muscle contracture, which is a soft tissue issue, which you can't bend your knee properly. You can get at the hips too. So you're going to have duck ass, which is kind of like usually resolved with, walking and physical therapy. What else is there?
Nerve injury.
What's that?
You can have a nerve injury, right?
Yeah, nerve injury. Yeah, you can have. Yeah, your nerves can get compressed and everything like that. Usually that's more common in the tibial lengthening, but you can have a pulmonary embolism. Obviously that's very rare, and it can happen though. Like you're breaking both femurs. That blood clot can break off and travel to your lungs, and you can have that. Fat embolism can happen intraoperatively. Trying to think what else. I'm really drawing a blank. Yeah, that's pretty much them. Most of the complications, but a lot of them are I literally haven't heard of many of them. The most device malfunction. I think that's actually been really increasing in how often that's happened in frequency. Recently, I heard of a Fitbone patient. Like, oh my gosh, like this guy I've been talking to for months, and he said that the nail broke. Like, I'm so confused. That's why he was going to be a part of the roundtable or and his femur broke, and he had it fixed, but he's recovering. I'm going to talk to him more and see if I can get him on or hear his story. I don't know if he wants to kind of come forth with it, but man, it's crazy. So device malfunction is another one. So be careful with that.
So do you think we need to restrict movement to prevent this device loss? Device failure?
It's interesting because it's weird. I don't know if he said that the nail broke, but that surgeon uses that nail like all the time. I really find it hard that if you're able to walk, the nail would just break. Like, you know what I mean? You have to be doing something. The metal doesn't just like snap. Like if it does, then they need to go out of business, like straight up or figure out, or they need to recall that nail, orthofix. But I don't know. Cause this happened with the stride nail a year and a half ago to another patient. And I know these people are doing something. They have to be doing something like, out of the ordinary. Maybe not, but like a broken femur and a broken nail, there's got to be some sort of force that acts upon that. I don't think you're laying in bed and your leg breaks, unless you have really, really brittle bones and your surgeon lets you start to kind of weight bear. It's uncommon. Ramirez, would having a height 3 inches longer than your wingspan look strange? I think that's okay. I think some people can get away with that. Most people can get away with that. I think it's over 4 or 5 inches. But I guess it depends on how the person looks and like their torso, their leg lengths, their interlimb ratio. It kind of all adds together. It's hard to kind of say just one factor. Kareem, he's always in here. What's your opinion for 5 centimeters in each segment? I said this before. I really think that you should do like a 6 and 4. Like if you want to maintain ideal proportions, because if you like, let's say you take the perfect proportions of the femur and the tibia and it's 0.8, right? 80% of the interlimb ratio. And you added 5 centimeters to each of those segments. And then you did another one. You added 6 centimeters to the femur and 4 centimeters to the tibia. You would come out with a closer value to the 0.8 by doing the 6 and 4 than you would with 5 and 5. You can do it in a calculation. And the femur is naturally longer than the tibia, and it can tolerate more length. So 4 centimeters is a lot easier to hit on your tibia, and 6 isn't that much different than 5 on your femur. But 5 on your tibia is a lot harder than 5 on your femur, if you get what I'm saying. So 6 and 4. Benjamin Mendoza, my guy. If a midget person, oh, come on, don't use that word. Hose. What is he saying? Randy, come on. I mean, I think he means is 4'10" to 5'10". Oh, goes. Okay, that's what he meant. Come on. You got to watch. Do your proofreading, Ben. 4'10" to 5'10" means that they have to go through a very serious pain when using the external fixator. Yeah, that's a foot. That you mean 4'10" to 5'10"? I don't think anybody. Oh, you mean like a person with dwarfism? Yeah. If they have to do external, so they have different. They're soft tissues. If you're talking about like achondroplasia, hypochondroplasia maybe, but like achondroplasia, they have different. Their soft tissues are like kind of a little bit different than your typical adult. So they have more pliability. They can get more length and not have to go through that severe pain that all of you will have to. So yeah, they will go through pain, obviously, if they're using an external fixator, because the pins are still going through soft tissue. But like in terms of lengthening pain, they'll get away with a lot more than you will. I believe doing 5 centimeters on tibias would limit some range of motion in one's ankle. I spoke to a patient and he said for dorsiflexion more than 90 degrees, he needs to be use body weight exertion. Does range of motion improve over time? It does. Using things like a slant board, standing on it over time, doing consistent ankle pumps, foot circles, all that stuff is going to definitely help with the dorsiflexion mobility of the ankle. But yeah, you're right. 5 centimeters on the tibia is no joke. People underestimate it. I don't know how much HJ's doing. I think he's doing like 3 or something like that. We'll find out, but that's a smart move. Anything around, there's another guy that just did 5 centimeters. He texted me a couple weeks ago. I have to check on him. But it's not easy. 5 centimeters is not easy. 4 centimeters is not easy. 3 starts to get hard, for the tibia. So that's like the 5 centimeter threshold for the femur. So, yep, you're right. Janu, question: Victor, do you hear of the Precice nail experiencing malfunctioning? And if so, which countries do you hear it happen most? It's funny that you say that, because yes, I do. I hear of like the ERC having some issues with like a malfunction one time on a guy who was lengthening, and he had to actually call Nuvasive. They got it replaced the next day because it said like max out or something like that, and he couldn't lengthen, when he was supposed to. I've also heard of nails bending. I don't know if that was the patient or what, but and then I've heard of other people like it's making clicking noises when they were lengthening. I don't know how. I think it's more internationally than. But I don't think that matters, because I think the nails are the same when they ship it. Should be, because it's coming from Nuvasive. But maybe there's some bad batches out there. I mean, they pump out a lot of these nails. They're making a lot of money. So yeah, there's some things that go wrong with it. Dino. Hi, Victor. I have an idea. Since femurs and tibias are not 100% vertical, lengthening them will result in a lateral mechanical axis shift. So after consolidation, can we correct that with surgery? So the tibia should be, for the most part, the anatomical and the like bow legs correction. Yeah. So, Randy, go back to that question. I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly, because I don't see. I have an idea. Since femurs and tibias. So for the first part of your statement there, femurs, you're right. The mechanical and the anatomical axis does deviate. It's not exactly the same. The tibia, it's pretty close. It's pretty dead on. It should be. Or very, very close to it. So lengthening your tibia, it should lengthen in the same plane. But the femur, you're right. I don't know what the degree of variation is. You'd have to ask a surgeon in a natural anatomy. But if it gets really bad, like if the person lengthens into a valgus or a varus, whatever it is, like bow legs, obviously they can correct it after the surgery. But you should always have your surgeon checking you along the way, so you don't even end up with that. If you end up with like knock knees or something like that because of femur lengthening, you just created a problem, and that's never the solution to the surgery. You should not add more problems. You're trying to get taller and get out. So surgeon checkups is a good way to prevent that, but yeah, it can be corrected with surgery afterwards. You recommended getting a cast after surgery to wear over your leg while you're sleeping. Oh, you watched that video from way back. Yes. I'll tell you about this in a sec. Can you somehow mess up the lengthening process if you toss and turn a lot? Good question. So I had tibial lengthening done when I was doing that, and it helped. And the reason why it helped is because it helped compress the swollen leg. I had a lot of muscle and it was swollen. I put that thing on, and it was like it just kind of diffused the swelling, and the compression helped all the inflammation kind of die down over the course of, I think it was like 4 or 5 days. My pain was gone. I stopped taking the Tylenol. I stopped taking the codeine or whatever it was over the counter, or prescribed, and Tramadol. Stopped taking it all. Okay, so, and it was because it just helped my natural. The swelling and the inflammation go away. But if you toss and turn with that thing, it's like a cast. If you get one, if your surgeon makes you one, it's really good because it keeps your leg braced. It kind of protects the alignment of everything. I actually liked wearing it at night in case I did toss and turn, because there were some nights where I would roll over and I was like, oh, don't want to mess up my fibula. Oh, I don't want to mess up the tibia. So I would put that on and I'd feel a lot safer. Think of like Iron Man. You put on your Iron Man suit and you feel like you're protected. So I think it actually helps you protect more. Athra, any tips for me when coming out of surgery and lengthening phase? Out of surgery? Yeah, you should, before you go into surgery, write yourself a note, okay, on your phone, on your computer, on a piece of paper, and write yourself a positive, encouraging note and say, you did it, okay? So you can pull that phone up and read on the other side. That's what I did. I think it was on paper back then. And no, I had a phone. But anyway, and I read it and I was like, this is going to be the best of the rest of your life. And I literally read that afterwards, and I knew the process it was underway and I had to go through with it. There was no turning back because my leg was broken and I had to do everything. Otherwise, I'm going to just end up with a short leg with a broken leg. So write yourself a positive note before surgery and read it on the other side. And then after lengthening phase or during lengthening phase, just keep self-confidence, telling yourself, I always say on your good days, write yourself positive, encouraging notes. Okay. That's what high performers do. That's what I do when I go in the gym. I'm like, man, I do not want to train legs today, but you know what? I want that world title on my shoulder. That's the type of things you have to do to get a good end result with this procedure. If you go in with it like, oh my gosh, I'm scared of everything. Oh my gosh, I don't know, I'm going to die, get my legs amputated. You're going to have a problem because you're scared and fearful of everything. You're like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? You can ask your surgeon all the time, but they may or may not answer you. So the best thing is to kind of learn as much as possible, self-confidence and self-encouragement, because it's going to be a very lonely journey. So you're going to be your best friend. And I think a lot of limb lengthening patients watching right now, if they are watching, can attest to that. DJ Cyborg. You see this, Ashe? What's going on here? People are stealing everybody's name. I like it. DJ Cyborg. I love it. Just waiting on the stride nail or the next weight bearing nail. I want to ask Vic, but feel like he is so tired of questions, he will start deadlifting and shoving creatine down there. I can't do it today, Lord. Come on, man. Shoving creatine. Actually, I'm 3 weeks off of creatine. I'll go back on next week. I do a little cycle every 3 weeks. The reason why is because I want it to kind of like I could go into the studies, and some people don't always believe it, but I think it upregulates in the cells and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I will shove creatine and protein shakes down your throat. And deadlifting, my favorite exercise. Man, I think that deadlifting is so underrated. Do you know of any cases, and you go ahead and ask a question, man. We're here for another, 10 minutes or so. We'll probably keep it at the hour today since it's kind of slower. Do you know of any cases of limb lengthening done in Brazil? There are 2 doctors who do it here at a better cost, but I'm trying to find any patient that had the surgery with either of them. In Brazil, I don't know. There's a lot of countries that are starting to pick this up and surgeons, but like I said, I think, and I said this in one of my videos, I think there has to be like some sort of standard of certification or standard of protocol for this procedure. It's not, and again, stature lengthening is probably easier than deformity correction and certain discrepancy fixes, but stature lengthening in general, you got to learn the complications, know what to look for and how to treat them. Okay. And you have to know as a physical therapist how to help that patient rehab safely, because there's certain angles that you don't want to push the muscles at, and you don't just stretch and hear muscles tear and pop. You don't want that. So experience matters for limb lengthening. So I haven't heard of them though. Victor, you don't seem to be a fan of anything above 6 centimeters on the femurs. Please explain, as many do go above and seem to be fine. What am I missing? Yeah, I'm talking about, yeah, I mean, it's more of a personal thing for me. I think people are fine, but I think that it's going to take you longer to learn your biomechanics after that point. I think that 5 to 6 centimeters is like a range where you can, once you start walking, you're going to pick up on it very, very quickly. Your proprioception, all that, spatial awareness, your balance, all your stabilizers, your strengthening, everything's going to come a lot quicker for that 5 to 6 centimeter range. Okay. I think once you go to that 7, 8, you start to elongate, and you're going to be fine once you adapt, but it's going to take longer to adapt. So I'd say that 6 centimeters is perfect for me because it helps keep proportions good. Recovery on the back end is going to be very, very quick, and it's something that I don't think is going to skew. Those pretty much those two reasons. That's the main two. And I've seen that when I first started the channel. One of the first few patients, the first 5 patients that I talked to, he's from Germany. He got 6 centimeters done on his femurs. He had the stride nail. He was walking. I think it went from like about 5'8" to 5'11", and he was walking fine. He was doing hunting and biking. And I said, dude, you just started walking. Your surgeon just gave you clearance to start walking. He's like, yeah, I feel fine. I was like, you don't have any problems with your walk? He said, I'm walking perfectly, Victor. But most patients I hear go 7, 8. They say, when will I get my normal walk back? When will my hips? And they do. A lot of them do. And a lot of them are doing running and jumping and stuff now. But I hear it takes a little longer, like 3 to 4 months longer. So it's more of a recovery thing. Superman. Do you think the new weight bearing Precice nail will have a higher maximum length limit? So instead of 80 millimeters, maybe it can go to 85, 90 millimeters. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's the reason why they would do that. I think that they'd still keep it capped at 80 because, after 8 centimeters is when a lot of complications exponentially increase. So you have a higher chance to, develop a complication in your soft tissues. Your bone would be fine to go 90 or 100 millimeters, but your soft tissues would have an issue with that. Is any of this scaring you, Ashe? Are you still good?
Yeah, I'm still good.
You're still good. I like it. He's still good. So you haven't phased me. I like it. Yeah. I got what you're saying, Cyborg. So 6 centimeters femurs and 4 centimeters tibias is better in case I'm athletic. Correct. That's right. You'll see that your proportions are better, your biomechanics are better, and your recovery will be faster. Yep.
You'll be poorer.
What'd you say?
I said you will be poorer. Like you will be, you'll have to spend more money, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you'll be poor. Yep. It definitely will drain the bank account more. Ramirez, does having a more muscular leg make the procedure harder and more painful than having less muscles would? Or does it really come down to flexibility? Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to flexibility, but you don't want to build new muscle going into this procedure. And the reason why is because new muscle is immature and it will have a lot of rigidity, or not rigidity, stiffness to it. And it takes time to kind of make it pliable and flexible. So you really kind of just want to kind of maintain your muscles. So about the 3 months away from the surgery, just start focusing on conditioning. So you can still work out, just focus on not excessive hypertrophy, focus on stretching, lots of cardio, and and then you should be okay. But yeah, big new muscles can make it harder. Yeah. But if you can do a split and you're like super flexible and you just start conditioning 3 months out, most people will be fine. So people who say don't work out and lose muscle before the surgery, that's not necessarily correct. What's the average time for femurs 6 centimeters and tibia 5 centimeters consolidation? I have to think. So 6 centimeters femurs, you'd be lengthening for what? 10 weeks, probably, maybe 11 if it's slow, and then are you doing them at the same time? That kind of matters. But like if you're doing them separately, then you'd look at another 10 weeks. So about 25 months for the femurs, usually 6 if you're doing the 8. So 5 months for the femurs at 6 centimeters, and then tibias probably 6 or 7 if you're doing the full 5, maybe 6. It depends on how fast you are, your age. There's a lot of factors that go into it. I can't really say. I'd have to have a list of factors and say, okay, how much do your leg muscles atrophy over the course of lengthening? A lot. Yeah, they do. They do. I remember after lengthening, I was like, man, I'm done. Bodybuilding's over. But surprisingly, that leg is the bigger muscle now because I think, again, hyperplasia, fiber splitting. There's going to be research done on it. But anyway, but yeah, they do shrink down quite a bit. Quite a bit. You lose a lot. Lose a lot. Do you feel any pain now or anything weird? No, not from my leg at all. Like at all. Like I feel nothing from my leg. In fact, like I said earlier, after the surgery, I think like a year after the surgery when I got the nail removed and I healed up from that, I forgot I had the surgery done for like the next 3 years until I did an internship with Dr. Conway. And then people started asking, like 2 years after that, people started asking me about the surgery. So I really forgot about I had it done. But I think that the patellar tendon did lose some force output, because they have to cut that. So I don't know. I can't say the exact percentages. And I think that having the discrepancy for so long caused some knee subluxation. And I don't want to go into all that. But anyway, yeah. But no direct pain from the limb lengthening surgery for me. So are there any long-term studies on quad patients, long-term impact of the surgery? No, there's not. Not that I know of. There might be soon. I think there's a lot of people doing studies on this now. This is just this week, somebody from NPR, the marketplace, it's like a show on NPR. It's called The Uncomfortable something. They reached out to me. Unfortunately, we couldn't connect on the phone because she played phone tag. But basically, everybody wants to talk limb lengthening now, especially stature lengthening. It's very interesting to them. And I don't know if they're just doing it as a story, which, is kind of crazy. But I think they find it fascinating, that you can actually, override your genetics and go get taller. It's pretty cool. But I don't know of any studies for quad patients. Hopefully we're going to get some data on that in the future. So DJ Cyborg's back. Victor, have you heard of any new info on weight-bearing nail from NuVasive or other companies? 2023, perhaps. We are all kind of waiting for it. Yeah, man, I know you are. I have heard from some reputable sources that mid-2023, late 2023, there will be from NuVasive. NuVasive's trying to come out with something. They're not fools. They want to work on this nail because they made a lot of money off of it. It was their flagship product. So they're going to try to rally it back up and get it back out there. I don't know if it's going to be called Stride. Some surgeon said that. And we don't know a whole lot about it. They're keeping it very under the radar. But there are other companies out there that they may not be aware of. And they might join forces with NuVasive. Who knows? They all want to kind of join my enemy. But I was talking to a company, and they have some features, some technical features that if they add this to a nail, they would pretty much make a smart nail that would make the Stride nail look obsolete, like a flip phone. Think of a smartphone, to a flip phone. That's what would happen based on the things that I heard that they were planning, and it's scary. I was like, this is real cyborg technology, so it's pretty cool. I don't know if they're going to do a weight-bearing nail or what, but yeah, there's other companies out there. And Orthofix, I mean, I don't know why they don't hop on the ball, but then again, their nail just broke, so. Victor, it seems that glucosamine sulfate can increase height. I saw a study about that. Glucosamine sulfate? Like, that's an amine. So how is that going to increase your height? Oh, well, it helps with cartilage replenishment. So it might like give you like if your cartilage, your articular surface of your joint, like your condyles and epicondyle, if that was like worn down, then maybe you can kind of like fill it back in. I don't know. How much is that going to give you? Like 0.25 of a millimeter. So I don't know how much how much height can it give you? I haven't read that study, so I don't know. Would you say that this surgery will be easier the more athletic you are? Yes, I do. Not necessarily more muscular, but more athletic. I think the athletes do phenomenally. Those are the ones that do very, very well. Like I hear nothing from them when they do. Like probably one of them had an issue, and it wasn't his fault. But all the athletes that I talked to with this procedure, they've recovered phenomenally well. Some of them say that they've done better. Like Johannes, he was an athlete before the surgery. He did 10 centimeters with the Fitbone, which he doesn't suggest, but he says that he's better than he was before the surgery. So athletes have a different mindset. Become an athlete, Ashe.
That's pretty unlikely.
I know, I'm just playing with you, man. But it's just something that they know that they're very body aware. That's why when, I love the surgeon's perspectives because they know the surgery, they know what goes into it, they know the complications. But when it comes to the body, I like to say there's maybe a handful of people who know it better than me. Like I feel like I just know body awareness. Like that's why I could go through any surgery and know like, oh, man, this sucks. I have to go through surgery, but I can get back maybe this percentage. Or I know what that's going to do. I know you got to be body aware, like going into a surgery. So people who are not body aware going into the surgery, they don't know about recovery. That's why I'm so confident that if you do things the safe way, you'll do very well and you'll forget about the surgery. What is the upper limit aesthetic leg to body ratio? Oh, I don't know, Doug Hen. I'm not sure. The upper limit aesthetic leg to body ratio. I'd have to look back at those numbers. I had that. I got to do proportions. You guys love proportions. Randy, we're at the hour, man. I know you wanted to, you always like to bounce. We'll go for like a couple more minutes to the hour and 5 or something like that. These guys are jumping in now. Victor, thoughts on 8 centimeters femur versus 6 and 4 femur and tibs? Oh, okay. Good question. I think that, okay, Janu, 100% the latter, like 6 and 4 is going to be better for biomechanics and proportions right off the bat. But when you think about financial time and one-time recovery versus 2, then the 8 centimeters femur. So it's a personal decision there. But if you had all the time in the world, you had all the help in the world, you had all the money in the world, and you were willing to go through 2 sets of limb lengthening surgeries and give it the time that it needed to recover 100%, then definitely the 6 and 4. Yes. You would be so much, it would just be like a taller you. Pretty much. It would just be a taller you. 8 centimeters femurs is going to take some adaptation. You'll do very well. You could get back to like probably 90-95%, but like 6 and 4, you'll close that gap to closer to the 100. Is it possible to go back to contact sports after limb lengthening? For instance, rugby or football. I'm afraid a tackle would destroy my legs after limb lengthening. Yeah, I actually had that same worry. I was like, man, if I get back in the gym and if I'm lifting like a plate off to put it onto the bar or something hits my shin, my leg's gonna snap. But no, when you go back in to either get your nail out, because usually about the 1 year mark, the bone should be fully consolidated if it's healing well. Obviously, they need to check the bone density and like all the cortical bone around it and make sure it's like fully solid. When they remove the nail, then you want to give it more time to heal the screw holes and all that good stuff. But let's say at the 1.5 year mark after the surgery, your bone should be fully healed. You're a young, healthy person. I think that you're fine for contact sports. Your bone is going to be longer, okay? But if it gets hit, a longer femur, like a longer bone, obviously with more force could snap, but obviously it's just going to be just as likely as it was before, maybe a little bit more because it's longer. I don't know. I'm not a physics guy, but yeah. So yeah, it should be fully healed. You'll be good for contact sports. Like I know there's a martial artist that I know. I know there's a footballer, which he's from international, so that's soccer, and he's doing very well. Would longer femurs? Oh, got a message. Let me see. Okay, all right, Randy. Hey, man, as long as you're happy. If there's no more questions, then we'll stop. But I'll keep going for a little bit. Would longer femurs affect the way you could do squats or lunges? Yeah, I did one biomechanics video on this. I don't know how well it was done. I did as best I could based on like the knowledge I have. But I'll answer this, and I'm going to tell you what we're planning to do. Yeah, so squatting. Well, it's hard to say because you said longer femur. So yeah, that's going to change your moment arm, which is the levers of your femur. So you're most likely, if you take the same stance, you're going to have to stick your butt back to get as low, and you're going to lean forward a lot more. So it's going to put more stress on your lower back. So you will naturally have to take a wider stance to get the same effect of the moment arm that you had previously. How wide that will be, it depends on how long your femurs are, how long your torso is, all that good stuff. But yes, it will affect the ways you do squats and lunges if you just do your femurs. But if you do your femurs and your tibias and you maintain, let's say, a 0.78 from the 0.8 that it was before, you'll notice it very little. You'll notice it very little. That's why I was telling Janu, I think it was 6 and 4 is going to be way better for biomechanics. Okay. Some of this stuff just takes thought. Like what I do a lot of times, I kind of manifest myself in a future situation. I can just imagine things. I'm like, yeah. And that just comes from being very body aware. Like, somebody might have to calculate it. Like, you'll be off by this percentage. I can say, what would it be like? And then, just within a few seconds, I can say that. Same thing with the proportions. I could look at somebody and say, nope, that's off. So I kind of go by experience with a lot of that stuff. Nitin Sharma, in the next 5 to 6 years, what advancements do you see coming in limb lengthening? Well, Nitin, I wish there were a lot of advancements. In fact, there could be a lot of advancements in the next 1 or 2 if these companies would join the fray, but nobody wants to play. So unfortunately, I don't know. Maybe faster bone recovery. I think some way to alleviate soft tissue tension. I think that there's companies that could definitely do that. I think better ways to monitor and check your walking gait. There's actually something that could do that right now. I could just name the companies that are available right now. I don't know why it has to wait 5 or 6 years. But like I said, Randy, keep me on track. I don't want to go down that path. The dark side. Hey, did you guys see Obi-Wan? Like on, was it Disney? Have you seen that, Ashe?
No.
You haven't? Do you watch? I don't watch much TV or anything like that. But have you watched Obi-Wan? I think it was on Disney Plus. I subscribe to all those things, but I never watch them. But
Oh, I
it's
see.
huh?
It's related to what?
It's on the little streaming app Disney Plus. I think that's what it's called. Let me check. Do you watch any of those things?
I watched
Yeah, it's
Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's I don't know. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I really like that series. That was pretty good. Yeah, Darth Vader. Is PRP? Does it help heal faster? It does. There's actually been a lot of people who have used PRP, which have helped their bones heal where they got the injection. So, yep. Yeah, it does heal. Help. I said heal. Oh man.
Freezer with
Let me just check my email real quick. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Just making sure this person didn't email me back because I have to check. All right, let's see. DJ Cyborg, would you suggest loading up the freezer with protein prior to surgery, such as buying 120 pounds of ribeyes, or would whey absorb better, or a combination of meat? Definitely the latter. So meat plus whey protein for protein. Good. Hey man, DJ, you guys should go message DJ Cyborg. He's talking about protein. This guy's gonna heal really well already. I can tell. Like I said, if I went into Ashe's home and I said I went into his fridge, I could say, Ashe, shame on you. You probably don't have enough protein in the fridge.
I think calcium would help more as well, right? Like
it will help, but here's the thing: when it comes to bone healing, calories are king, and then from there it goes to the macronutrients, which are your protein, your carbs, and your fats. Then it becomes the micronutrients or your calcium, because obviously you want to have enough calcium, vitamin D3 to synthesize bone matrix, but calories. If your body's in a caloric surplus, you can heal the bone so much more efficiently because it can make things and it can heal bone. Your body's very smart. Think about if you're in a desert. How does it heal a broken bone? If you're eating food, you're going to heal okay. If you're dying and you have no food, you're famine, then you're going to die and your bone's not going to heal. But yes, load up the freezer with meat and have lots of tubs of whey protein. There we go.
Awesome.
Yep. I go on too many tangents. I know. I should just get off the air. We'll get off soon. People have more questions. We'll try to cut it soon, but I like to do this for you guys as much as possible. Spine traction, horizontal table, plus stem cells, plus PRP, plus exosomes, plus glucosamine, plus chondroitin and sulfate, plus vitamin D3, plus calcium to gain up to 4 centimeters in torso length in 2 to 3 years. Is that the study, Dardino? I don't know anything about that. I honestly don't. Like, that all seems fun and dandy. Let me see here. You said it's fun. Maybe. I don't know. You want to try it? Come back to us in 2 to 3 years. Let us know if you got taller. Ramirez, did you gain a noticeable amount of fat while you were lengthening? It's funny that you asked that. And the answer is, at first, yes, because I was eating in a heavy surplus, thinking I need to heal my bone. Then I found out that my bone was healing too fast. I had to go at the 1 millimeter on my tibia for the rest of distraction. But I found out that I did at first. Then I kind of lowered my surplus to be just a slight surplus. And I actually got leaner because your body does go into a metabolic overdrive where it starts to burn calories to use the caloric deficit as a surplus as a resource to heal your bones. So I was actually getting leaner as I corrected that. But early on, I was drinking milkshakes. I was just eating all kinds of food, just trying to, heal up. And I did gain more body fat and my muscle was atrophying. So I looked like my body composition had flipped. I was coming from a bodybuilding show that year. So I looked like I was a fat slob. But then by the end of lengthening, I had ripped abs. I lost muscle, but I was very lean and my bone was healing amazing. So that's why I tell you, diet and nutrition is extremely important if you want to heal your bones. You will not have a delayed union if you distract at the proper rate, you mind your nutrition, and you mind your micronutrient and supplementation. But it's very complicated to a lot of people, apparently. Victor, please invite Dr. Richard Luzzi for a live. He is the first doctor to do limb lengthening in Brazil, and I think he trained under Dr. Pilley. Would be interesting. Let me write his name down. I'll look into him. I actually reached out to Dr. Baumgart. I haven't heard anything back, so we will see. Let's see, Dr. Richard. Do you know him, Ash? Have you looked into him?
No,
No.
because I've almost decided that I'm going to do it in North America.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so it's either Dr. Paley or Dr.
Dr.
Rosberg, or
Rosberg. Okay.
maybe if I do it in Canada, maybe Dr.
Marie, Dr. Marie. Say hi to her. That lady is a saint. I really, really do like her a lot on a personal level. She's very, very good. She's done some cool favors for me, things that I asked for. She's really cool.
Awesome.
Yep. Hey man, I don't want to be holding you up. Are you okay with Ash just hanging in here?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool, man. Randy. You let me know, man. Like, I'll go to the 1.5, like, or the one whenever. But like, I'm cool with. I know. Yeah, anyway, Vic, what about 5 centimeters in the femur, or is that a waste? No, it's not a waste. Two. Here's the thing: 2 inches to your height is phenomenal. People don't understand that. Yeah, 3 inches is different than 2 inches, but like 2.5 from 2, not a big difference. So if you want to, if you're an athlete and you want to recover extremely well. Oh, okay. This is the last question. Okay, so the last question here. So if you're an athlete and you want to recover extremely well and boost your height, I think somewhere between 5 and 6 centimeters, maybe 6.5 max. Conservative lengthening will do that for you. You will recover well. You won't skew your proportions, and you will have good biomechanics on the back end. Okay. I think people who go 7 and 8, they don't understand how to adapt, properly, and it takes them longer to get back to a normal walking gait, run, and everything like that. They do. A lot of them do, and I'm not saying that you won't, but I think that 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters. I think people, like I said, over lengthen and they under rehab. And if you can find a length that makes you happy, maybe do the tibias later. Like, maybe combine it. But like, I think that not overdoing it in each segment, maybe doubling up from both of them, will make you a very happy person in the long run. You'll avoid complications. Your muscle will be happier with you, and everything else too. Okay, here we go. Did your resting metabolic rate go up during healing? It happens in a case of some injuries. Yeah, your BMR? Yeah, it did. Well, I can't say that did. Actually, it probably went down because muscles of metabolic tissue, and from atrophy, it probably went down. But your metabolic rate went up because of your metabolism will speed up because of, trying to synthesize new bone tissue. So not to mention the hyperplasia and the new muscle tissue, the nerves and all that stuff. And I think that that's what's increasing your metabolism. So it needs new resources, meaning more calories to supply, that healing process. So Victor, do you get a request from LON femurs to come on live? I hear they do well. Do you get they do well. I mean, there have been some that have done really well. Like Nick, we had Nicholas's leg lengthening journey. He's another YouTuber. He's done really well. He's healing, and he did LON femurs. I reached out to him. Hopefully, we can get him for the nail roundtable. But I've reached out to Leon as well, and he said that he will come on. I just need to give him enough advance. He's doing very well. That guy's seriously, like straight up Batman. I don't know what he's doing, So yeah, they do well. We'll get them back on. Are you thinking about it, Jay? Are you thinking about LON femurs? So, when doing quadrilateral lengthening, what are some of the tips when staying away from complications? Try to lengthen as slow as possible. Not that you'll get a premature consolidation, to avoid nerve irritation and muscle contractures because of the interconnection in your posterior chain. Watch out for, spread them apart as much as possible, stuff like that. Cool. Well, guys, I think that might be it for questions. Ash, do you have any more questions before we go, or before we do a wrap?
Can do a wrap.
What's that?
We can wrap it up.
We can wrap it up. Okay, cool. Well, guys, I really appreciate all of you guys coming out to episode 45 of Lengthening Live. And yeah, what can I say? I'll try to get guests on. I have reached out to some guests. I don't know. We've had some irritation in my YouTube comments lately, and I think that might be, warding guests off. Apparently, it didn't ward Ash off. He's here. So I really appreciate you coming on, Ash, to share your story, your perspective, limb lengthening experience of looking into the surgery. We wish you the best on your, your journey to figure this all out, and we hope to have you on as a actual limb lengthening patient in the future.
Sure, Victor. I would thank you for having all these informative sessions and getting all the prospective limb lengthening patients informed about various aspects of the limb lengthening surgery. Right. So I think you've done a big help to all the people around in the ecosystem.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. And big shout out to my man, Randy, in the back. Man, always appreciate you. Wish you well on everything you're doing and travels. And until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life and Big Man Ashe signing out. See you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.